Boom, 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 T-P-I-N-G. A sudden guttural German voice screams from the darkness. Achtung, lädt nach. He's reloading. It was the sound of an empty rifle, and for American G.I.s, it was a dinner bell for the enemy. February 20th, 1943. A ridge overlooking the Kasserine Pass, Tunisia. The air is thin and cold, scraping the lungs with every breath. It smells of dust, old sweat, and the faint, metallic tang of cordite that never seems to wash away. Below, in the valley, a network of shallow slit trenches cuts through the rust-coloured earth. This is the new home of Dog Company, 2nd Battalion, 16th Infantry Regiment. They are survivors of the 1st Infantry Division to Big Red 1, but they feel more like orphans. They are green. Weeks ago, they were in England. Days ago, they were untested. Now, after the disaster at Kasserine, they are veterans, baptized in the 88mm fire and coordinated assaults of the Afrika Korps. In one of those trenches, Private First Class Deacon Miller hunches his shoulders against the wind. His knuckles are raw, stained with rifle oil and a smear of his own blood. In his lap rests his entire world. Serial number 1,034,988, his M1 Garand. To Deacon, it is a masterpiece of oiled walnut and parkerized steel. It is 9.5 pounds of American engineering, and it is the only thing standing between him and the men in grey-green wool uniforms who are, even now, watching this ridge. He works the cleaning rod, his motions practiced, almost reverent. He had cleaned this rifle on a transport ship in the Atlantic. He had cleaned it in the mud of Oran, and he cleaned it last night, after firing it in anger for the first time. Beside him, Private Sully Sullivan grunts as he tries to reseat the gas tube on his Browning automatic rifle. The bar is a monster, a 20-pound beast that spits 30 to 06 rounds from a 20-round magazine. It is the big brother. But Deacon's rifle, that's the standard. She's a beauty, ain't she, Sarge? Deacon murmurs, not looking up. Sergeant Mike Rock Petrovich, a man whose face looks carved from the same rock they're hiding in, finishes inspecting his own M1. He slams the operating rod handle back with his palm, letting it fly forward with a satisfying thwack. What that drill instructor tell us back in basic, Miller? Rock asks, his voice a low gravel. Deacon smirks. He said, God damn it, ladies, this is the U.S. rifle, caliber 30, M1. It is the greatest battle implement ever devised by man, sir. And he wasn't wrong, Rock says. He taps the stock of his own rifle. You know what the Krauts got? They got that Mauser, the Kar 98K. Deacon knows it. He's seen them. A bolt-action rifle, a fine weapon for 1,917. You fire a shot, you grab the bolt, you turn it, pull it back, eject the spent casing. You shove it forward, chamber a new round, turn it down to lock. Click-clack, boom. Click-clack, boom. 5 rounds. Rock continues. And every time they fire, they got to take their eye off the sight. They got to break their cheek weld. They got to work that bolt. What do we have? Deacon holds up a small, rectangular piece of metal. It's an en-bloc clip. It holds 8 rounds of 30 to 06 ammunition, staggered in a neat little package. We got this, Deacon says. Rock nods. 8 rounds. Semi-automatic. You pull the trigger, it fires. The gas from that shot slams the op rod back, ejects the empty, chambers a new one, all before you can even blink. You keep your eyes on the target. You keep your finger on the trigger. You can put 8 rounds into a man's chest before that poor German bastard works his bolt twice. This is the power of the Garand. It is, quite literally, an exponential leap in battlefield lethality. An American rifleman can lay down a volume of accurate, high-powered fire that no other standard-issue rifle in the world can match. It gives them confidence. It gives them dominance. Deacon finishes his cleaning. He picks up the clip. He lays it into the open receiver of the rifle and, with a firm push of his thumb, seats it. The follower presses the clip down, and the heavy bolt, released from its catch, rockets forward, locking and loading the first of 8 rounds. The sound is a solid, mechanical chunk. He is ready. 8 rounds of death on demand. The rifle is a marvel, a gift from John Garand himself. It is perfect. It is flawless. Or so they believe. Out in the darkness, beyond the stretch of no man's land, a German Maschinengewehr 42 crew is also listening. They are learning the sounds of this new American army, the roar of the BAR, the thump, thump, thump of the M1, and they are waiting. They are listening for a new sound, a sound that, in the weeks to come, will become a death sentence. A sound that doesn't mean ready, it means empty. July 12th, 1944, near Saint-Lô, France. A year and a half has passed. The deserts of Tunisia are a distant, dusty memory. Now, the world is not brown and open, but a suffocating, claustrophobic tunnel of green. This is the bocage, the hedgerow country. Ancient, earthen walls, 10 feet high and 15 feet thick, crowned with impenetrable tangles of thorns, vines, and trees, divide the landscape into a million tiny fields. Every field is a fortress, every corner an ambush. This is not a war of movement, it is a war of knives, fought at 50-yard increments. Deacon Miller, now a grizzled corporal, presses his back against the damp earth of one such wall. The air is thick with the smell of sour mud, cordite, and the sickly sweet odour of decaying cows and men lying in the next field over. His M1 Garand, serial number 1,034,988, is still with him. The walnut stock is darker now, stained with oil, sweat, and French mud. It is scarred, but the action is as smooth as ever. On the other side, Sergeant Rock Petrovich whispers, his voice barely audible over the drone of insects. MG-42, dug into the corner, and at least 2 riflemen. We don't clear this draw. The whole platoon stays pinned. Deacon nods. He can hear it. Not the ripping sound of the MG firing gets quiet for now, but the nervous cough of the man operating it. They are that close. Sully. Rock motions to his BAR gunner. You lay base of fire on that corner. Just keep their heads down. Deacon, you're with me. We're gonna crawl up that ditch. Find an angle. Sully nods, his face pale. He unhooks the bipod of his heavy BAR. Giving 'em hell, Sarge. Go. Sully scrambles, rolling into a firing position and letting loose a 20-round burst. The sound is deafening. BRR, BRR, BRRRRRRT. The bar's roar tears the leaves, chewing wood and earth from the opposite hedgerow. Move, Deacon. Deacon and Rock plunge into the ditch. It's a shallow, muddy trench filled with brackish water and stinging nettles. They low crawl, the mud sucking at their uniforms. The MG-42 answers Sully. RRRRRRRR rape. The sound is nothing like an American weapon. It's not a boom or a thump. It is a single, continuous, terrifying tear, like the world's largest canvas being ripped in half. 1,200 rounds per minute. Hitler's buzzsaw. Down! Rock screams, shoving Deacon's head into the muck. Tracers, glowing green, snap feet above their helmets. I see 'em. Deacon yells, wiping mud from his eyes. 20 yards, in that thicket. A German grenadier kid, really, in a coal scuttle, helmet peers from the leaves and fires. His car 9-8K. The shot is high. Crack boom. He's mine! Deacon shouts. This is what the Garand was made for. Deacon rises to a crouch, plants his elbows in the mud, and brings the M1 to his shoulder. He finds the German in his sights. The German is working his bolt. Click-clack. Deacon pulls the trigger. Boom! The 30-06 round hits the German square in the chest. A pink mist erupts from his back. He simply vanishes from the foliage. Boom! Deacon shifts fire to the MG nest, sinking around into the earth just in front of it, making the gunner flinch. Boom! Another round for the nest. Boom! Boom! He walks the fire, suppressing, dominating. Every pull of the trigger is a new, devastating assertion of power. He is a one-man firing line. The Kar 98K shooter's partner is nowhere to be seen. The MG is quiet. He has them. He knows he has them. Sully's BAR is changing magazines. Rock is yelling for the rest of the squad to move up. In this brief, sudden silence, Deacon sees a flicker of movement to his right. A different position. A third rifleman. The German has his rifle up. Deacon swings his M1. Boom! He fires. The shot is wide. Boom! The German ducks. Boom! Deacon fires his 8th and final round. The shot misses. But something else happens. The internal mechanism of the M1 Garand, having fed its last round, does exactly what its designer, John Garand, intended. The operating rod locks to the rear, opening the bolt. And the empty en-bloc clip, its job done, is forcefully ejected by a spring-loaded lever. It flies out of the receiver, spinning, and makes a sound, a high-pitched, metallic, ringing sound. T-T-P-I-N-G. It is the loudest sound Deacon has ever heard. It is louder than the BAR, louder than the MG-42, louder than the pounding in his own chest. It is the sound of an empty rifle. Deacon's hands are already a blur. His left hand holds the rifle steady. His right hand darts to his cartridge belt, his fingers digging for a new 8-round clip. He has done this thousands of times. He is fast, but he is not fast enough. From the bushes, the German voice is sharp, clear, and filled with savage triumph. Achtung! Let nach! Attention! He is reloading. Deacon fumbles. His fingers, slick with mud, close around the brass clip. He brings it up, orienting it. He has to jam it down with his thumb, but the German is no longer working a bolt. He is not suppressed. He is charging. A grey-green uniform crashes through the leaves. The man is not 15 yards away. He is not holding a rifle. He is holding an MP-40 submachine gun. Deacon looks up from his open, useless rifle. He sees the black, circular void of the MP-40's muzzle. He sees the German's eyes, and the German is smiling. The world narrows to the 10 yards of muddy ditch between Deacon and the German. There is no time to seat the clip. There is no time to even curse. The German's smile is pure malice. He doesn't aim. He presses the trigger. BRRRT. The sound of the MP-40 is a brutal flat cough. 9mm rounds tear the air. Deacon doesn't feel the first hit. It's not a bullet. It's a sledgehammer. A massive, invisible force slams into his left side, just below the ribs, spinning him around and throwing him face first into the watery mud. His M1 Garand clatters from his grip. His world explodes in white, hot pain. He can't breathe. His entire left side is on fire. Deacon. He hears Sergeant Rock's voice, but it's not a shout, it's a primal roar, a sound of pure, unadulterated rage. Deacon, choking on mud, tries to roll over. He sees a blurred, chaotic image. Sergeant Rock Petrovich is standing. He is completely upright, fully exposed in the ditch, a perfect target for the MG-42. For anyone. He doesn't care. His face is a mask of fury. His M1 Garand is at his hip. He doesn't aim. He points. Boom! 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 Rock fires 3 rounds. 30-06. As fast as he can pull the trigger. The thud, thud, thud of the hits is unmistakable. The German grenadier is thrown backward into the hedgerow, a puppet with its strings cut. His last, uncontrolled burst from the MP-40 zips harmlessly into the sky. In the same instant, Sully's BAR opens up again, a long, desperate, screaming burst of fire that sweeps the MG-42 nest, silencing the buzzsaw for good. Then, silence. It falls like a blanket. The only sounds are the drip, drip, drip of water from the leaves, the distant crackle of a radio, and a low, wet, gurgling sound. Medic. Deacon gasps. The word is a bubble of blood and mud. Sarge, I'm hit. He pushes himself up on his one good arm. His left arm won't respond. His M1, his beautiful rifle, is lying a foot away. Its bolt is locked open. Its receiver is empty. Sarge? He calls out, his voice a ragged whisper. Sully is already crashing through the ditch toward him. Deke, you're hit. Oh God, hold on, hold on. But Deacon isn't looking at Sully. He's looking at Rock. Sergeant Petrovich is not standing anymore. He is on his knees, 2 yards away. He is perfectly still, hunched over, as if in prayer. Sarge? Deacon coughs, a spray of pink landing on the mud. Rock sways, like a man falling asleep, and then topples slowly, stiffly, onto his side. He doesn't make a sound. No, Sully whispers. He scrambles past Deacon. Rock? Rock! Mike! He rolls the sergeant over. Sully recoils. Oh, Jesus! Oh, sweet Jesus, no! The last uncontrolled burst from the MP40 hadn't gone into the sky. It had stitched its way, perfectly, across Rock's neck and chest. Sully looks back at Deacon, his eyes wide with a horror that has nothing to do with the enemy. He just stood up. Deacon's vision is tunneling. The pain is a roaring ocean, but he sees it all with perfect, terrible clarity. He sees Rock, dead in the mud. He sees his own M1 Garand, lying open-bolted, useless, and in his right hand, still clutched in a death grip, is the fresh 8-round clip he never got to load. The Flaw was not a myth. It wasn't a rumor from another company. He had fired his 8th round. The rifle had gone TTPING. The German had heard it. The German had charged. And Rock had died. The greatest battle implement in the world had a fatal flaw, and it had just been paid for, in full, with the life of his sergeant. The trust was broken. The ping was not the sound of readiness. It was a dinner bell, and they were the ones being served. July 15th, 1944, 12th Evacuation Hospital, near Carrington. The world, for 3 days, has been a grey, throbbing fog of pain and sulfanilamide. Corporal Deacon Miller floats in it. He is no longer in the mud. He is on a cot, one of dozens lined up in a massive, canvas tent that smells of damp canvas, antiseptic, and gangrene. He is alive. The MP40 round had torn through his side, missed his spine, and exited cleanly, taking 2 ribs with it. He is one of the lucky ones. He knows this because the man in the cot next to him is not lucky. The man has no legs. Deacon's M1 Garand is gone, of course. Taken from the field, or perhaps lying in the muddy ditch where he dropped it. He feels a strange, cold emptiness where it used to be. The rifle had been a part of him, an extension of his will. Now, it feels like a phantom limb, and the phantom aches. His left side is a universe of fire, but the pain is dull compared to the memory that plays on a continuous loop in his mind. Boom. 8th shot. TTPING. Achtung, let nach. The BRRT of the MP40. Rock, standing tall. Rock, falling. It was the sound, he whispers to no one. His voice is a dry rasp. The sound? The man with no legs groans, his eyes fluttering. He's a private from the 29th Division, his uniform still stained with the blood and sand of Omaha. The rifle, Deacon says, staring at the canvas roof. My rifle. It made a sound. It told them I was empty. The 29er turns his head. His face is waxy. The ping? Deacon's blood runs cold. He turns, the movement sending a fresh bolt of agony through his torso. You know it? Everyone knows it. The private whispers. We heard it all over the bocage. We thought it was a rumor. Don't fire your last round. How the hell do you not fire your last round? It wasn't just Deacon. It wasn't an isolated freak incident. It was known. The Germans, masters of defense and counterattack, had learned. They were not the green, overextended troops of Tunisia. The Lancer and SS Panzer Grenadiers in Normandy were arguably the most professional, combat-hardened soldiers in the world. They were masters of infiltration, ambush, and, above all, listening. In the pre-dawn quiet of the bocage, in the lulls between mortar attacks, they listened for the sounds of the Amerikaner. And the Americans were loud, their jeeps, their tanks, their radios, and their rifles. The Kar-98K was quiet, click-clack. The M1 Garand was a symphony of mechanical noise. Thwack chunk on the reload, boom on the fire. and a bright ringing ping when it was all over. To a German rifle squad, pinned down by the superior fire of an American unit, that ping was not a sound of defeat. It was a signal. It was a starter pistol. It meant the American, for the next 3 to 5 seconds, was helpless. He was a man with a 9.5-pound club, frantically trying to feed a new clip into an open receiver. 3 seconds. For a trained grenadier, that was enough time to stand up, throw a potato masher grenade, and drop back into a hole. It was enough time to rush the position with an MP40. It was enough time to kill. This knowledge spread through the lines like a virus, passed from foxhole to foxhole, from replacement depots to aid stations. I heard a whole squad got wiped near La Haye-du-Puits. The 29er mutters, his eyes closing, doped with morphine, just waiting for the pings. Then they hit 'em with machine pistols, slaughtered 'em. Deacon lies back, his breath coming in shallow, painful hitches. The Flaw was real. The Flaw was getting men killed. Rock hadn't died because of a stray bullet. He hadn't died from a random mortar. He had died because John Garand's masterpiece had, in a moment of critical, life-or-death tension, announced its own vulnerability to the entire battlefield. Deacon closes his eyes. He doesn't see the tent. He sees the muddy ditch. He sees Rock's face, and he hears it. TTPING. It is a haunting melody. It is the sound of his sergeant's death, and he knows, with a sickening certainty, that he will be sent back to the front. He will be handed a new M1, and he will have to learn to live with that sound, or die by it. September 17th, 1944, the Hürtgen Forest, on the German border. This is not a forest, it is a tomb. The air is perpetually damp, carrying the smell of pine resin, rotting wood, and death. The sun does not penetrate the canopy. Artillery, from both sides, screams constantly through the treetops, tree bursts that explode high up, raining shrapnel and wooden splinters down on the men cowering in their foxholes. Sergeant Deacon Miller is back. His promotion came on the same paper that listed Rok Petrovich as killed in action. The hole in his side is a mass of scarred purple tissue that pulls tight every time he moves. But the physical pain is nothing. The real wound is in his head. He is leading a squad of replacements. FNGs, F-ing new guys. Their faces pale and smooth, their eyes wide with a terror that hasn't yet had time to harden into the dull apathy of a veteran. Only Sully, now his buck sergeant, remains. The two of them are the old men, the survivors. And Deacon is terrified. He is terrified of the TTPING. He has become pathologically obsessed with counting rounds. He fires. 1. He fires. 2. He fires. 3. After the 7th shot, his finger freezes on the trigger. He will not, cannot, fire the 8th. He will fight with 7 rounds, then manually eject the still-loaded clip, wasting the last round, just to avoid that sound. His new squad, who haven't yet seen a man die for it, think he's crazy. "Sarge, you're wasting ammo. A new private, a kid named Bishop," had muttered. Sully had grabbed Bishop by the collar. "You see this scar?" he'd growled, pointing at his own minor shrapnel wound. "I got this the day our last Sarge died. He died cause of a noise. So you shut your goddamn mouth and let the sergeant fight his way." Now they are pinned. Not in a ditch, but in a waterlogged crater, surrounded by shattered trees. They are cut off from the rest of the company. And the Germans' SS Jägers, forest specialists, are hunting them. They are ghosts, moving unseen, unheard. "I see 'em," Bishop whispers, his voice cracking. "Movement. 40 yards. 3 o'clock. Deacon peers through the rain. A flicker of Feldgrau, field grey, a coal scuttle helmet. "They're flanking," Deacon says, his voice flat. His M1 is at his shoulder. It has 8 rounds, a full clip. He'd reloaded in silence, covering the receiver with his hand, like a man hiding a shameful act. "Sarge," Sully says, crawling over. He's not holding his BAR. He's holding his .45 pistol. In his other hand, he's holding something small and metal. "What is that?" Deacon asks. "Souvenir," Sully grunts. It's an empty en-bloc clip. What the hell? They're smart, Deke, Sully says, his eyes fixed on the trees. They listen. So, let's give 'em something to listen to. Deacon doesn't understand. Sully just grins, a cold, feral expression. Bishop, Sully yells. Fire! 3 o'clock! Make some noise. The private, startled, raises his M1 and fires. Boom, boom, boom. 3 quick, panicked shots. A German MG-42 answers instantly, not with a burst, but with a single shot. Crack! The sniper-like precision is terrifying. They're baiting us, Deacon hisses. They want us to fire. They want to count. Exactly, Sully says. He looks at Deacon. Do it, just like we practiced. Deacon is confused. Practiced what? The trick. The one the guys from the 82nd told us about. Sully takes the empty clip. I'm gonna draw 'em. You be ready. Don't fire till you see the whites of their eyes. And for God's sake, Deacon, empty your damn rifle. Sully takes a breath. He pulls the bolt of his BAR back, letting it slam forward. Clack! He fires a short, 3-round burst into the trees. B-R-T! A German voice calls out in the gloom. Something in German. A command. Then, Sully, crouching low in the crater, throws the empty en-bloc clip. It sails in a high arc, landing on a flat, exposed rock at the crater's edge. T-T-P-I-N-G. The sound is as clear and sharp as a church bell in the dead forest. It is a perfect imitation of an empty Garand. Jetst. Los. Los. Now. Go. Go. The German scream is one of pure, savage triumph. 2 figures, grey and wraith-like, rise from the forest floor, not 30 yards away. They are not cautious. They are charging, their MP-42s and potato masher grenades held ready. They are charging a man they know is empty. Now, Deke, Sully whispers. Sergeant Deacon Miller, who had been paralysed by his fear of the 8th round, feels a cold, dark wave of clarity wash over him. He is not empty, he is full. He rises from the crater. He plants his feet. He brings the M1 to his shoulder. His sights are clear. The first German looks up, his eyes wide, his face a perfect mask of confusion. He doesn't understand. He heard the ping. Boom! Deacon's first round takes the German in the throat. He shifts his sights. Boom! The second round hits the other German in the chest, the impact lifting him off his feet. Deacon keeps firing. Boom, boom, boom. He pours round after round into the collapsing bodies, a furious, cathartic release. He is not just killing them, he is punishing them. For rock. For his fear. For the sound. Boom, boom, boom. His 8th round fires. The bolt locks back. T-T-P-I-N-G. The real ping echoes through the trees, a punctuation mark on the slaughter. Deacon stands there, his rifle smoking, his heart hammering. He looks at Sully. Sully just holds up his 45. My turn. The G.I.s had learned. They had adapted. They were now carrying empty clips, specifically to be used as decoys. The fatal flaw had not been fixed by the engineers at Springfield Armory. It had been fixed by the men in the mud. They had turned a death sentence into a hunting call. The ping was no longer just a liability. It was now, also, a trap. December 22nd, 1944. A frozen crossroads near Bastogne, Belgium. The world is no longer green. It is a blinding, featureless white, broken only by the black skeletons of shattered pine trees. The cold is a physical enemy, a constant, crushing weight that steals the breath and numbs the trigger finger. This is the Ardennes offensive, the Battle of the Bulge. Sergeant Deacon Miller and his squad are holding the perimeter of a destroyed farmhouse. They are no longer dog company. They are a collection of survivors, stragglers, and cooks, pressed into a desperate defensive line. The 101st Airborne is surrounded in Bastogne, and Deacon's small unit is one of the 1,000 speed bumps trying to keep the 5th Panzer Army from breaking through. Sully is gone. He was rotated back, his feet black with advanced trench foot, his mind finally cracked by the horrors of the Hürtgen. Deacon is alone, leading a new crop of FNGs, many of whom have never fired a rifle outside of a training range. The M1 Garand in his hands is a different one. Serial number 3,450,112. His original rifle is still in the Normandy mud. This new one is cold to the touch, the steel so frigid it burns the skin. The ping trick that had saved them in Hürtgen had become standard doctrine. Men practiced tossing empty clips, coordinating the sound with a burst of BAR fire. For a few glorious weeks, it had worked. But the Germans were not fools. They learned. The men they were facing now were not the half-trained Volksgrenadiers. They were SS Panzergrenadiers and Fallschirmjäger, paratroopers, elite, fanatical, and masters of winter warfare. And they had learned the trick. The ping was no longer a reliable signal. Now, it was a question. Ping. Is it real? Ping. Is it a trap? The new FNG, Bishop, the one who had survived Hürtgen, is a different man. His eyes are hollow. He is counting rounds, just like Deacon used to. Sarge, he chatters, his teeth clattering like dice. They're out there. I can smell 'em. He's right. The snow is not silent. It muffles footsteps. But the Germans are there, draped in white sheets, moving like ghosts in the swirling fog. A shape moves. A flicker of white against the grey. Contact! Bishop screams, his voice high and thin. He opens fire. Boom! 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 His shots are wild, panicked. Control your fire, damn it! Deacon roars, scanning for a target. Don't just... Boom! 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 Bishop is lost in it. He fires his 7th round. Deacon's stomach clenches. Bishop, cease fire. Boom! Bishop fires his 8th round. The forest, for one agonizing second, is completely silent. The echo of the last shot fades. And then, the sound. TTPING. It rings out in the crystalline air, sharp and clear. No, Deacon whispers. He remembers the charge in Normandy. He remembers the decoy in Hürtgen. He expects one or the other. Nothing happens. There is no charge, no triumphant scream, no MP40 burst, just silence. A heavy, patient, terrifying silence. I'm empty, Sarge. Bishop cries, his hands fumbling for a new clip, his eyes wide with the ancient terror. Cover me. Wait, Deacon screams. The Germans are not charging. They are listening. They are not listening for the ping anymore. They are listening for what comes after. Bishop, in his panic, jams the new clip into the receiver. His thumb, numb with cold, slips. He doesn't get it seated. I can't. It's stuck. He cries, Bishop, get down. The Germans are not listening for the ping. They are listening for the voice, for the sounds of fumbling, for the location. From the white fog, a voice, speaking perfect, unaccented English, calls out, a calm, conversational tone. It is cold, isn't it, Private? Bishop freezes. You should be more careful with your ammunition, camarade. The voice continues, seeming to come from everywhere at once. That sound, it tells us exactly where you are. Sarge, Bishop whispers, tears freezing on his cheeks. Sarge, what do I do? Don't move, don't speak, Deacon hisses, scanning the trees, his M1 sight a useless blur. But it's too late. The ping was not a starting gun. It was a marker. A rangefinder. A dark, spoon-shaped object sails in a high, lazy arc out of the fog, its long wooden handle tumbling end over end. It is a steel hand granate, the potato masher. It lands, with a soft thump, directly in Bishop's foxhole. Deacon doesn't even have time to yell. The explosion is a muffled crump in the snow. It is not loud. It is brutally intimate. A cloud of black cordite, red mist, and white snow erupts from the hole. The Flaw had returned. The Germans had adapted, and in the most brutal way. They no longer fell for the trick. They just used the sound-any sound. The ping, or the reload, or the panicked voice toe pinpoint their target. The rifle's signature, once a signal for a charge, was now a simple homing beacon for a grenade. Deacon stares at the smoking crater where Bishop had been. The war of sound was over. The Flaw was absolute. March 18th, 1000, 945, Remagen, Germany. The war is on its last legs, but it is dying hard. The fight has moved from forests and fields to the shattered skeletons of German cities. This is a war of rubble, a 360-degree battlefield of snipers in attics and machine guns in cellars. Sergeant Deacon Miller is a ghost, haunting these ruins. He is 21 years old and looks 40. The replacements in his squad, one 8-year-old kids drafted 6 months ago, look at him with a mixture of awe and terror. He is the man who lived. He moves with a cold, predatory grace, his new M1 Garand held at the low ready. He no longer obsesses over the ping. He no longer fears it. He has accepted it. The sound is not a flaw or a trick. It is simply a fact. It is a piece of data, like the wind or the rain or the incoming shriek of a screaming Mimi rocket. You don't fear it. You process it. You adapt, or you die. They are clearing a 3-story, bombed-out textile factory. The rest of the platoon is clearing the ground floor. Deacon, with his last remaining veteran, a PFC named Jersey, takes the 2nd story. Clear. Jersey yells, tossing a grenade into a stairwell. The WWII shakes dust from the ceiling. "On me," Deacon says, his voice a flat monotone. They move up. The 2nd floor is a forest of looms, silent and draped in white sheets, like a graveyard for machines. "Split," Deacon orders. "I'll take the left." Deacon moves down an aisle of broken machinery. The air smells of plaster, old oil, and burnt wool. He is a hunter. He is counting his steps. He is listening. A floorboard creaks. Not from his aisle. From the one over. Deacon freezes. He doesn't breathe. He doesn't even blink. He sees a shadow. A brief, flickering movement behind a cast-iron loom 20 yards away. The German is a Volkssturm, an old man, maybe 60, or a Hitlerjunge, maybe 15. It doesn't matter. He is the enemy, and he is here. "Jersey," Deacon whispers into his handheld radio. "I have contact. West side. I'm engaging." Deacon raises his M1. He doesn't wait. He fires through the sheet, through the loom. Boom. The 30-06 round punches a neat hole in the cloth and screams as it ricochets off the iron frame. A Sturmgewehr 44, an STG-44, the revolutionary assault rifle answers. Pop, 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 pop. The sound is new, strange. The bullets are 7.92 millimeters Kurz. They rip through the sheets above Deacon's head. Deacon drops to one knee and fires again. Boom. 2. Boom. 3. The German is good. He's moving. Pop, 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 pop. Bark chips explode from a wooden support beam near Deacon's head. This is a duel. Boom. 4. Boom. 5. Boom. 6. Deacon walks his fire, suppressing, pinning. He is calm. He is just, working. Boom. 7. He pauses. He has 1 round left. He thinks of Rock. He thinks of Bishop. He thinks, this is it. He stands, takes a half step into the open, and fires his last round, deliberately wide. Boom. 8. The rifle locks open, and in the vast, echoing silence of the factory, the sound is as loud as a cathedral bell. TTPING. Deacon does not flinch. He does not panic. He is already moving. His right hand is at his belt. His left hand holds the rifle. The ping is still echoing. Across the room, the Volkssturm Soldiera boy, it turns out, no older than 1-6, does exactly what Deacon expects. He does what Rock's killer did. He does what the men in Hürtgen did. He charges. He bursts from behind the loom, his STG-44 held high, a triumphant, guttural scream in his throat. He is charging a man he knows is empty. Deacon has the new clip in his fingers. The boy is 15 yards away. Deacon brings the clip to the open receiver. The boy is 1. Setting the clip, the user's thumb gets in the way of the bolt, which slams forward on it, 0 yards away. Deacon's thumb, scarred and calloused, pushes the clip down. He does not feel the follower. He does not feel the steel. Chunk! The heavy bolt, released, slams forward, chambering the first round. The entire action from ping to reload has taken 1.9 seconds. The German boy stops. His scream dies. His eyes go wide. He sees the M1's muzzle, now a dark, black, loaded hole. He tries to raise his own rifle. He is not fast enough. Sergeant Deacon Miller does not hate him. He does not feel rage. He feels nothing at all. He just pulls the trigger. Boom! The boy disappears. Deacon stands there for a long moment, the rifle smoking in his hands. He lowers it, his breath fogging in the cold air. The rifle is the greatest battle implement ever devised. He knows that now. It is not perfect. It is not magic. Its flaw, the ping, was real. It was a fatal, undeniable vulnerability. But its strength-height rounds of semi-automatic, 36, was the ultimate arbiter. The ping was the price of that power. And it was the job of the American soldier Deacon, Miller, Rock Petrovic, Sully, Bishop Toe, be fast enough, to be smart enough, to be good enough to pay that price and survive. He ejects the 7-round clip, catching the live rounds in his hand. The bolt locks back. He pulls an empty clip from his pocket, and just once, lets it fall to the concrete floor. T, T, P, I, N, G. It is a terrible sound. It is a beautiful sound. It is the sound of his war. He loads a fresh clip, lets the bolt fly home, and moves on to clear the rest of the building.